I'm standing here with Professor Mireille Hildebrandt of Vrije Universiteit in Brussels. What is the most important thing in the new EU regulation on data protection?
I think the most important thing is the fact that it's a regulation, so it levels the playing field in all member states by one text that makes it easier for the industry to comply, and that's important. The second thing, which is equally important, maybe more important, is that there are fines in this regulation which go up to 4% of global turnover, so not global profit. We all know how you can play with profits. It's global turnover. That means you're speaking to the board and not to some privacy officer. That means the board will tell the privacy officer, you get data protection right, because it's going to cost me money.
Are you saying that Google, Facebook and the others are happy about this?
I wouldn't be surprised if they have mixed feelings, but I remember a report by London Economics, not the university, but a consultancy in which 2011 or something, they went and asked the industry, what do we need to do? And actually they all said, please level the playing field, because if we are going to comply now, we will be pushed out of the market. So there's a threshold now which is under construction, because it's all quite complex and the technologies go very fast.
And how shall I as a consumer and citizen make use of this regulation?
I hope that on the other side, behind the screens, what we call the back end of these systems, that companies before May 2017 will reconfigure their system for compliance, and that means that for consumers there is much more transparency and that it is much clearer that certain ways of processing personal data are simply prohibited. To make this work, I also think it is very important that civil society in Europe gets its act together, starts class actions, not just wait for fines of the DPA, Data Protection Authority, but also starts tort actions whenever we, citizens, see that things are not going well, and then move to class actions, to consumer law, public litigation. And at some point, I hope the industry will see consumers not as objects from which you can get data and business models, but as partners.
Well, the pessimists say this doesn't matter because in the long run, artificial intelligence, big data and machine learning will control us all.
I think that that this regulation has a well thought out approach to the intestines of artificial intelligence, that's machine learning at this moment, and for some time to come. And I think there's a lot of bad machine learning applications around now. Bad in the sense that they promise all sorts of added value, but they're not choosing the right data, they are not training their algorithms, they want to make quick money. I think the data protection regulation will help to root out bad machine learning because of its principle of data minimization. Purpose limitation will help the industry actually to get its act together, because it's not only civil society but also the industry that has to realize that just throwing data together and running algorithms.
We talk about the industry. Is there a conflict between the commercial use of data and sort of the use for public interest? I should be aware of this conflict.
I think it would be interesting to enable interfaces and systems that allow consumers to say, you can use my data for this public interest goal, like health. It might be that they then say, but if there's a commercial gain, I'm not sharing it. This is probably possible when you think of dynamic consent. And this raises, of course, a whole lot of questions, because research centers will say, yes, but the industry is funding this research. And so We really have to think about this. The private-public situation is very important. This is about open data, like which data of public agencies are going to private sector, what private sector are going to the public sector. Is it one-way traffic? Is it data brokers, that's private sector, that is selling data to law enforcement? Is that a problem? Is it not a problem? Can law enforcement, for instance, get access to data to which they have no lawful access under criminal law? What does that mean?
Thank you.
You're welcome.